Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the year of our Lord 2026. And I hope everything has started off with blessings for you. We didn't have a stream last week, and it wasn't merely a Christmas break, although it certainly was that, but also I was traveling. I visited first early on in the week some friends in Denver, and then after that, visited my godson in Atlanta. A buddy of mine I hadn't seen in over 10 years asked me to be his godfather, and I didn't have the opportunity to go to the ceremony, but I did get the opportunity to visit later on, and it was a wonderful reconnection there. But there was a moment where I was wondering if that was going to be possible. I made the transit via plane between Denver and Atlanta on New Year's Day, also um, known as the Solemnity of Mary, the Mother of Jesus, Octave Day of Christmas, Holy Day of Obligation, all of that stuff. And I really wasn't feeling well that entire day. I assumed that it was a matter of I hadn't slept well the night before. People lighting off fireworks, saying goodbye to my friends in Denver. So I spent the whole day on first day of 2026, just kind of feeling like I was pretty tired and really looking forward to getting to bed. So I get to, it's kind of nonstop, either movement or on a plane, or waiting at a terminal, all of that travel stuff that you have to do. And then when I got to the parish that I was staying at, I've got a friend who's a priest of the Archdiocese of Atlanta, and he quite graciously hosted me the time I was there. I had to say mass while I was there, and then finally got to lay down and rest. And that's what I realized, that I wasn't just tired; I was actually sick. All of the movement that I had been doing had kind of masked over the fact that I was coming down with something, and it's like the most predictable thing to happen when you're traveling, stuck in a plane with a bunch of people. Um, that shouldn't have surprised me. And the illness reminded me the most of was actually COVID, uh, not in its severity, but because it gave me insomnia. Most of the time, when I have a cold, that will just kind of put me right out, which is the exact thing that you want. You want to get some rest so that your body can recover. But this illness was making it difficult for me to sleep, despite the fact that I was exhausted. I couldn't quite fall asleep there, and so that ended up being a very unpleasant evening for me, because I had come all the way to Atlanta to see my godson, and I really didn't want to have made this whole trip, gotten down here, and have to call my friend and say, "Hey, man, like I've got a cold or something. Do you want me to come over?" And so, I just kind of asked for a miracle. I was like, "Mother Mary, it is your feast day today. It is your solemn feast day, and I really would like to see my godson. I think that would be spiritual good for everyone involved, his parents and me and the child. And I've come all the way down here. It would be such a terrible disappointment to uh, not not be able to see them on account of illness. And so, would you please just heal me of this so I can move on with my life?" I figure at about midnight, I finally got to sleep. And when I had these very strange dreams about some kind of miraculous technology. Um, I could hardly even describe it, but it was very vivid at the time. And when I woke up, I felt much better. And I was not expecting to have recovered quite that quickly. So, my successful visit to my godson that next day, I attribute to the intercession of Our Lady. And I think, I'm not trying to brag here. I think, she may have cared about other people more than me. Um, I don't feel like I've got any kind of special connection, but it is a useful thing to remember is that you need to ask for things, as our Lord says in the Gospels, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened unto you. And I asked for a miracle. And as far as I can tell, I recovered from that illness miraculously fast. And that is a blessing for me. So don't forget to ask for miracles. Now, you're one of the people that I don't feel like I need to tell that to, but other of us need reminders.
My joke is, first off, hi, good seeing you.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Glad you're not dead or zombified. I work on a campus, and it seems like COVID passed through again. So, zinc, whenever you get hit by a bug, megadose zinc, or they have zinc packs. But getting back to Mary, this is I'm traveling into new territory in healing with her, or she who may be Mary. I'm like, I'm always fence sitting or trying to do my due diligence. But with that said out the way, just recently, there's a marriage that's kind of hitting the rocks. And I won't mention who, or when, blah, blah, blah. But when I prayed, I dialed in with her, and I feel, in my own parlance, I reeled in a big one. Like so when you pray, so I'm asking, is it wrong to pray knowing that in some weird way that I don't understand, there's an interaction with me and her that gets to him to help them?
That's the most normal thing imaginable to me as a guy who grew up Catholic. And like kind of my standard, is like, you hear the siren going by. I say a Hail Mary for the people in the ambulance or the fire truck or whatever, and wherever it is that they're going. And that's kind of a standard part of intercessory prayer. And, I think a useful way to think about it is that there's nothing that Our Lady does that a human being can't do, but she does so in a singular and exemplary way. So, certainly a common practice in every Christian church I've ever encountered that people would hold each other up in prayer, right? And like the whole community will sometimes gather around for prayer. And, Our Lady just does that in a singular and exemplary way, because, and model an image of the whole church there.
I think because it's such a spiritual interaction, it's weird, and I'm cautious and hyper paranoid to the point where I'd rather talk to a Catholic priest who might disagree with me completely, because that's the guy I want to talk to. In the Protestant world that I love, I'm not hacking them, but I'm off the reservation. And is there a place where people have constant contact with her? I mean, 24/7. Like, just since it's me, you, and a few other people, they'll know. It's like I'm plugged in.
I believe you, I guess.
Yeah. And I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, And I'm like, if anything, this is going to get me in trouble.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I'm,
I mean, if you became Catholic, it wouldn't. So,
but I'm cool with
you
it,
know,
you know. And I wouldn't expect any. And I'm cool, and I understand what you're saying. But I think even I'm even yeah, you're right. I got Catholic buddies, and they're cool with it. It's just the interaction. It's almost like having a paradigm shift where
hmm
I met
hmm
Jesus and him I recognize. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll work it out. But with
hmm
her, I'm like, dude, I want to get past the facade of hippie burnout. And it has been a transformation of heart again, 20 years later, that I couldn't do. And I'm running this by you, and let me word vomit. I couldn't do with him, and I don't know why. There was a block in my heart where I was feeling demonic stuff, and whether I couldn't forgive myself or trust him or something, there was something weird going on. That was an impasse. That out of kindness and mercy, she came in, alleviated all the negative spiritual demonic, and I was nothing got cast out. It just I just got happy, and that's what the weirdness was and has been since for 5 years, every day, all the time, with a new interaction that I know is good, beautiful, true, leads me to him all the time, and I'd have absolutely no grid for it. And that's why I'm a little cautious. Not any more cautious to say, I feel like Paul, like, okay, I got knocked off my donkey. I got, and I know you're good, but who are you, Lord?
hmm hmm
And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will close with this. It's probably her, but I'd never want to say it is because I don't want to lie.
hmm
I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I know Mary, like, I am not that person.
So, if you were unbound by any human respect
Uh-huh.
or need for an institutional affiliation or anything like that, what would you do with this relationship?
I would actually say, Father Eric, what do you think?
I mean,
Seriously, as a
I
buddy.
so I'm really thinking about
That's what I would do. I would
it.
ask, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I would ask people that I would trust, not so much charismatic,
Mhm.
but people I trust, going, all right, dude, I just met me a UFO. It's good. Can you help me with a clue through this labyrinth?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It it sounds to me like Our Lady has a number of functions within the
mhm,
church, right? That she's been given asked to fulfill, and one of the things that women will say do is that they're able to set things in a beautiful order. Oftentimes, that us guys
mhm,
aren't as accustomed to or don't even think to do, right?
right.
um
Mhm,
Kind of to furnish things nicely and to decorate them nicely. And people talk about the difference between a house and a home. And
mhm,
it seems like you had a house and you'd started to build it on solid rock. You got to the point where you were keeping the rain out, you were keeping the bugs out and keeping the animals out. You had some food to eat, and you had a place to sit and a place to lie down and sleep. But it was just sort of sparsely furnished right there. And that's kind of where you got to start. You got to have the the plumbing and the drywall up before you but when Our Lady comes in and she can begin to make things a little more beautiful there. And I hope that's been your experience.
Oh yeah,
Um, like
absolutely.
furnishing your soul with the higher graces of charity and that sort of thing. And so that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
So you've asked, and you asked a Catholic priest, and he gave what I would imagine would be a rather standard Catholic priest answer, and you've got to decide what you're going to do with that.
Well, because what I'm doing when I talk with you, it's like talking to a ref. A ref's not on anyone's side. He's just there to interpret the law.
Mhm.
And there's sometimes when that's exactly what you want. You don't want someone to be a good guy. You just want to know which way is north.
Mhm.
And I really liked your question. If I had no constraints for an institutional silo to be in or any fear of man, I know I met a girl that was like no other that I would immediately marry. It's a very spousal relationship in a proper way. That's
Mhm.
kind of another, all areas of that part of my life have been fulfilled and are being fulfilled since that moment. I have no desires that are unfulfilled in this area, and my life has gotten so much better, without a doubt. And the demonic stuff that I used to fight and battle, I'm like, don't care. Yeah, it's not even like don't care. It's like, no, you're good. And the funny thing is, when I deal with other people now who are coming to faith, and the nature of the relationship that I help them walk into is simple identity as a beloved son or daughter in Christ, and that I don't deal with the demonic. I just deal with a nice, quiet, simple, boring Christian life. And if we need to deal with a demon, maybe after you get nice and stable, maybe we'll go there. But until then, let's get happy with Christ and watch all the stuff just wash away.
Mhm.
And it becomes very undramatic. Anyhow, that's a sidebar. For me, it's been, I think this is a long time ago in the ministry. I willfully told God no one day. It didn't go well. And for a long time, I couldn't get it right. I forgave, confessed, blah, blah, blah. Stuff wouldn't leave. Met her, all gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't not admit it. And she never gave me her name. But to be honest with you, when I first met Jesus, I got to him using his name. I'm like, you and him are one. I got to you in his name. You and him are one. Okay, we'll work it out. She never gave me her name. But now that I'm learning through you and other sources, I'm like, I'm not as hesitant to say it might be her, but the nature of the relationship is so intimate, properly. And that's why, because that's what confused me, because all the Catholic folk, and even whatever denomination, they always venerate her as mother and not a spouse. And I'm like, this ain't my mom. This ain't nothing like that. It's pure, it's loving, it's fulfilling. And that's why I never said it was Mary, because I don't want to disrespect her, and I don't want to lie, and I don't want to grand showboat. Some people said it might be wisdom, the spirit of wisdom or something, but all I know is I did meet someone from the other side, the home team that is helping me, and I'm discerning it. And I just gave you everything, maybe not in a great order, but I really did, I think, accurately describe what's going on in my spiritual relationship with her and with God at the same time.
So the thing about spiritual relationships is that there's a certain lack of constraint about them. So you could look at religious sisters, right? And when a consecrated woman makes her vows, she's wearing a veil and a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a consecration to Christ in a very spousal manner, right there. And
Yeah.
you might say, well, okay, like I thought polygamy was banned, and Jesus has how many hundreds of thousands of wives, here on earth, right there.
Islam, eat your heart out, buddy.
Yeah, right. Uh, and it's like, well, these these lower these lower material human realities are
Yeah.
reflections of the higher realities,
Yeah.
and they're just a little bit more constrained, right? So a man has one wife and has children
Mm-hmm.
with them. There's a highly exclusive relationship right there, and the
Right.
way that a man relates to his wife very different than the way he would relate to his mother, and
Yeah.
that's the human order of these things. But I think when you're up in the spiritual realm, those sorts of constraints aren't as operative, and so you talk about having a pure and can't remember all three of the words you used.
Well, it's the good, beautiful, and true. And well, actually, no. For her, it is fulfilling in a spousal way. It feels like if I had been married or I have a fiance that I am wholeheartedly committed to,
Hmm.
who's committed to me,
Hmm.
and very pure in the love of God between
Hmm.
us. And when I think of her, he shows up. It's
Hmm.
it's not
Hmm.
either or, it's both and.
Hmm. I mean, it's possible that this is kind of a mystical relationship with Our Lady still, because on the spiritual level, uh, those it's just not weird to have that sort of feeling with your mother in heaven.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
so.
cause
I don't think
cool.
so.
You okay. Okay,
Um,
and that's what see from you I'll trust it. From you I'll trust it because I'm I'm not looking to get validated. I'm just
mhm.
looking for insight.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And I
another
know
part of
it's
me, another lawyer part of me that is like, is this the church? But that just doesn't like click the same way. It
mhm.
doesn't
It's
it doesn't
very
quite make sense to me. Like I yeah.
everything that
So
everything I've wanted in a wife, I've gotten in and through her.
mhm. I
That,
mean,
that that's as simple as I can put it.
but internally, right? Because you're
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
she's
And no,
not
it's
cooking
all
dinner for you and bearing children,
right.
so it's
No,
like
no,
it's not
it's
subject to those human constraints.
it is okay, who I don't know who said it, our hearts are restless until we rest in you, Lord.
Saint Augustine.
Okay, I got that
Hmm.
through her. Like, okay, we're good. Like, if I have to wait till eternity to meet her, it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So, what I'm doing is stress testing this. I'm trying, I don't know the exact words how to put it, but if I try to prove myself wrong and I really work at it, and you're saying it's okay, I can, I will allow myself to relax a little bit and go, okay, maybe it is her. You, I, I don't know. I think I'm doing this out of respect because this is the one thing that I take the most seriously out of my life. I'll play a burnout, I'll play a facade, and I like being goofy, but this I don't play.
Yeah.
And this is, and I don't want to be super somber and serious, but I'm like, all right, this is actually a moment that's pretty serious, but good.
Yeah, and another thing, you had mentioned that there was this very natural intercessory movement that worked here. And that, I mean, that kind of seals the deal here, because that's, in my head, it's like,
tell me more, please.
Well, so like, let's imagine for some reason you wanted to talk to Bishop Fulda right here in North Dakota. You had a request to make of him. Now you could show up in your hoodie and like ask for a meeting, and like you don't know him and he doesn't know you. Maybe you'll get the meeting, right? But like, you don't know necessarily how he ticks. You don't necessarily know how to present these things in a way that'll be the most salient to him. Because let's say it's even a good thing, But, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I know somebody who knows Bishop Fulda, somebody who happens to know him rather well. His secretary, Father Seitz, Like, Father Seitz, if I wanted, Bishop to come and bless rosaries, like, how do I do that? Like, oh, that's actually pretty easy, Or like I say, it's a bigger request, Okay, well, we would want to go about it this way and that way. And, you're going to have to wait a little while because he takes his time making up his mind. When you go with an intercessor and somebody who's intimate with the person that you're intercessing with, they know how to bring you before them, right? And that's like the whole doctrine of the communion of the saints and in the intercession of the saints is like, hey, these folks are really close to God, and they can bring your petition to him in a way that's better. And like, who's going to know Jesus better than his mother? Only the Father himself and the Holy Spirit. So that's like the whole doctrine there. So if this intercession thing keeps on happening, where you see somebody who's in trouble and you're able to secure even miraculous graces through them, for them through Our Lady's intercession, it'll be like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know what else to tell you except, people would be very happy to hear this in a Catholic church, and it would be considered a normal thing.
Oh, okay. It's because I come from the Pentecostal Protestant side of the tracks. Dude, we don't do that around here. You ain't in the wrong. You're in the. How's that go? You're in the wrong.
You ain't town. From around here.
Boy, yeah, that's it. Ya? That's it. Yeah, right. That's it. That's a good job. But so is it? And is it unreasonable for me to say, yeah, I think it is her? And
it's the best guess I got. It fits for me. That's what I think.
You're the sixth priest I've talked to, okay?
Okay.
And every one of them's going, yeah. And with them, and they were good talks, but I know, this isn't just a 5-minute, hey, this is happening. What do you think? This is, it's deeper. And okay. One thing she did tell me to do, it was just keep my mouth shut.
Well, you've got to be careful with these things, right?
Be careful. Ah! I'll be honest.
I got this for me for Christmas.
Dude, when this all went down a while ago, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. It was so vibrant. Boy, that caused me some trouble. I realize now people just don't understand, and it's not bad. It's just, I'm learning. Just let it talk to you, a few others, and after that, let it just.
I mean, like, if you were just talking about this stuff at Coffee and Donuts, with somebody you just met at a Catholic church, that'd be a little bit like, oh, okay, we're going a little fast here. But I am, I'm accustomed to these sorts of questions, so it's
Okay.
it's not worrisome to me. But yeah,
Well,
we
no,
should
I'm
know
glad to
people.
hear that. No, because
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm glad. Thanks for the time. By the way, thanks for the time. Appreciate
No,
it.
trying to keep the lights on here.
Yeah. Well, no, this was good because this one, I'm saying yes. For a long time, it was yes, but quarantine.
Mhm.
Like who are you? Like now it's more like okay,
All
all
right.
right, yeah. Just I don't know what will happen, but all right, whatever. Don't care. I'm not smoking pot anymore. Let's roll.
Excelsior, we're going up.
Excelsior. Huzzah.
Father,
Yes, Kirk.
sorry, my phone lagged for a second. What does it say on your thing, your mug?
Oh, it says, "Be careful, or you will end up in my sermon."
I'll definitely try and be careful not to end up in your sermon, Father.
I'm actually highly unlikely to follow through on the threat of this mug, but my brother-in-law got it for me for Christmas, and I'm quite pleased with it. So, it's got a fancy metal straw and everything. Like you're doing quality drinking ware when it's got a metal straw. So that's what I'm here for. All right, we have the
better.
Trinity of Bald Men. Thanks be
Yes.
to God.
Excellent.
It's way better than those crappy paper straws they have in some of those states.
I wouldn't object to the paper straws if they worked, but they don't work. So
They don't
that's a
have
major
that.
problem.
They don't have that Aristotelian teleology, do they, Father?
Like if they don't complete the function for which they were designed, then what are we doing here?
Or in Hawaii. You need paper straws in Hawaii. But that's only because they give their trash to the Asians who dump it in the ocean. It's not an American problem outside of Hawaii, by the way. But
Oh man,
we're going to pretend it is and try to have paper straws for no reason for years until we figure out it's dumb and we don't need it, except for Hawaii. Which I feel like that's an easier problem to fix. Just tell, I think it's the Philippines or whatever, to stop dumping trash in the ocean and problem solved.
you're not allowed to tell other countries what to do.
Oh, no, we are now.
Oh yeah, we are,
We have
Father.
a fire sale on El Presidentes. Would you like one? They're free.
I don't think that was free. I think that was we probably spent a few $1 million that night. But
Oh, yeah. But 360 billion barrels of oil. That's a good. That's a
Yeah.
good.
It was a good
ROI.
investment. Like, we steal a bunch of Chinese oil. Sounds good to me.
I was
All
just
in.
objecting to the notion that it was free. Like how much do you think Delta Force
Nothing.
costs per hour?
Nothing is free. The Air Force is cheap. We pay them that much anyway.
But they eat well.
The
So
military is underpaid. They'll tell you that all day long. Of course, they also have cheap living if they so choose. So
Yeah,
trade.
no, that was. I mean, the military did well for my family. Free base housing, groceries at the grocery store were cost plus 5%,
Yeah.
which is. I know that grocery stores operate on thin margins already, but that's yeah.
Plus with bulk buys, the military has bigger bulk buys than normal stores. Yeah.
Yeah, probably matching only Walmart.
Gas is cheap.
Mhm.
Like everything's cheap on base. I remember being able to go on base and buy stuff. It was great. Didn't last long, but lasted long enough. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Were you a contractor or?
Yeah, I was a contractor
Okay.
on an Air Force base. It was great.
Yeah.
Joint Stars, baby. AWACS. I worked on the AWACS project.
Oh, that'd be a fun project. Like
It was.
I don't know how strategically necessary and effective they are, but they're cool looking.
Oh, they screwed it all up. So Sally was telling me about this, and a few other people. They had all the data that AWACS was supposed to provide, And instead of giving it to the commanders on the ground, which is the intention of the project, and I know because I actually read the project docs back in the day, they sent it all to the NSA, and the NSA would release it 3 days later after figuring out whether or not anybody needed to see it. And so it was a complete disaster. Like, you morons. This is exactly so the commanders on the ground could get real-time telemetry data of where all the troops were on both sides. And you guys decided to classify it all and send it to the NSA first. Geniuses. Totally destroyed the whole like ethos of the project as such.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Milspec is cool. Have you seen Milspec docs? They are awesome. Like, just stacks of like numbers. This must be exactly this way, and this must be exactly that way. It's like, what is wrong with you people? It's so funny. On the other hand, they make stuff that lasts 75 years guaranteed. So,
I mean, the B-52s are still in service.
yeah, they just
Like,
the stuff
that's
they make.
wild.
What? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
B-52s are still in service, man. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't found anything better than that for a long
The
range
proper?
heavy bomber. No, those
The-
have jet engines. They have jet
Oh,
engines.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean okay? Now we're okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Not the B-29. That's been
Oh,
retired.
okay,
Yeah.
those were awesome. But I was
Those
like,
were awesome. We
Part of
I
that
mean,
one. They're pretty cheap.
B-29.
really?
Oh yeah,
That
we
would be
buy all that.
fun.
Military surplus is cheap, man.
I don't know about fighter or bomber jets, man. Like, that's a lot of steel.
What
to
about a
begin with.
trainer?
A
Like a
trainer would be a
trainer?
little easier to get your hands on.
Yeah,
probably.
a non-weaponized trainer. Oh, that'd be fun. Like a single seat jet. Oh, heck yeah. When I win my mega Powerball, the first stupid thing I get,
Oh, come on, Rod. Promise me if you win the Mega Millions, you're just gonna go build beautiful churches.
oh, I'll do that too, but I'm gonna have me a landing strip
True,
somewhere
true.
with me. I gotta buy something stupid, at least
Yeah,
one
he's
stupid thing.
He's gotta have his
Oh,
toys.
churches. All right, I got you. Yeah, churches for sure.
Heck, I've just
Yeah.
thought about the beautiful church. Like, you can think about like what kind of a cathedral you could build for 100 million. You know, like
How much?
Not a good one.
$100 million.
Nah. You want to build it for free. You want the people to cut the rocks out, and you want it to take 130 years. Then you can build a good cathedral. Otherwise, you're building garbage. Temporary garbage. No reverence. We need 3 generations involved in this minimum. Come on.
Well,
Let's do it.
it's not the American way, Mark.
The Americans are wrong about that for sure. We might be right about nearly everything else,
Wait.
but we're definitely
There's a
wrong
major
about
problem, though, Mark, is that we live in America.
that. We can fix it.
In America.
Okay.
What's the longest? What's the coolest church that's been built within the last 100 years?
Sagrada Familia, hands down, easy peasy. It's in Barcelona.
Let me look that up. What
How
is
long
that
did it
called?
take them to build it?
The Holy Family is it in English, but Sagrada Familia is the way you say it in Spanish, and that'll get you there faster. It's like the only useful innovation in
wow.
architecture recently. You know what? Let's just we're
Bring it
doing-
up.
Put it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, what's really interesting about it is the way that let's see if I can pull that up right there. Yeah, let's open that image in a new tab, huh? And then we come over here.
Imagine thinking weapons of war are not awesome. They're totally awesome. They drive all your technology, especially the internet.
And what's
Yeah.
really interesting about this is just like this actually works, but it's like not just a copy of something that we've done before.
Can you blow that up?
I mean, that's as big as I can get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can do it on my side. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's just like the way that he's like,
That's
cutting
cool.
the stone over here, and like and this is huge right there, right? I mean, that's probably that run right there is probably at least 100 yards. Let's see
Really?
if we can find some more good photos. If I can find my mouse first.
That's old school. That's
How long did
serious.
it take them to build it?
It's not finished yet.
Oh, cool. When did they start? This is awesome.
Like 1920s, or was it before that?
Perfect.
Oh,
All right.
oh.
I'm all in on this church. This is unacceptable.
That is cool.
This is acceptable.
Those
Yeah, I
towers
don't
are wild, but I love them.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the beehive look, but
Well, he was bringing in all the patterns from nature, but I don't know.
It's 100 years. Not bad.
It's as you
Wow.
see, they still got the scaffolding up there.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. What are those other spires that are surrounded?
That's scaffolding right there.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
They're still finishing the central tower and the other spires around it.
Is
I
it
think-
limestone or granite or what's the stone? Or...
I don't know. But
I
this
don't
is
know if
all the
it's-
reason you need to visit Barcelona.
Got it. In my jet.
In your jet, yeah.
You can't afford a jet. You got to build more churches.
Well,
We went over this earlier.
I get one indulgence.
One
It's a jet.
indulgence.
That is pretty amazing. That is pretty cool.
That's not
So
bad. I'll take one.
So yeah, like we still got it if we want it.
Mm.
We could still find a genius every once in a while to design something amazing. And like the way the different stained glass like windows just
Mhm.
when the sun's shining in there.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, Mark.
Doesn't have enough flying buttresses for me, but other than that, it's pretty good.
What is it? Is it Notre Dame? It's got the flying buttresses. It's
Our Lady
I'm
of
pretty
Paris,
sure
yeah.
most of the cathedrals that were built,
Right.
they had to hold the walls in somehow.
yeah.
Well,
all
a
the
lot of
big ones
times,
have 'em.
they would just do regular buttresses, so like a little stack of bricks or stone up against the wall to hold it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
The flying
smaller one.
buttresses. That's
Oh,
that's a
okay.
commitment right there. It's a commitment. You've really
Yeah,
got to
but
be
you can
ready to.
you can build really tall churches with very thick walls with those, and you have a cool outside to move around in because they're arches, they're open, so they don't interfere with the sunlight very much. They're the best. Flying buttresses are the best. All architecture without flying buttresses, as far as I'm concerned, is defective.
It's
like-
subpar.
All cars that don't have roofs that go down, defective, just defective. No need for that.
Okay. I get a jet. Mark gets a flop top.
I have a flop top.
Oh, do you?
It's awesome.
All right. Then-
Father, you're on mute somehow. Why are you muted?
Because I muted myself, obviously.
Good job.
Yeah. You live in the South, Mark, and you can get away with that. So
I know. I took it out the other day because it was like 70 degrees out. I wanted
Oh
There you go.
man, you're killing me.
It's 65 out today. I'm like, hey, this is a great winter. Last winter
Yeah.
was brutal.
That's
This
me.
winter's going pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
Fellas,
been in.
I gotta bounce. I appreciate hanging out and letting me grill the Padre. No, I do
if that's
appreciate it.
grilling, then flip me over.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
Ron. Have a great
All right,
night.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
It was the least unpleasant grilling I've ever had in my life.
It is so weird when people do the thing with Catholic. They're like, whatever issue it is, like intercession on behalf. And I'm like, well, but that's how it's supposed to work. Like, what? Like, I don't even.
Yeah. If you haven't learned, you haven't learned, right? That's,
It's just so funny. That's every time. I'm like, wow, it's just complete information blackout on how it works in Cathodoxy land. We had to drop the Anglos because the church blew itself up by
I
performing
was
the
always a
ultimate-
little suspicious. Like, man, I don't know if Mark understands what he's attempting.
Cathodoxy for the win. It's fine. I was trying to be,
As you try to be ecumenical.
Just trying to be as ecumenical as possible. And as usual, betrayal by ecumenism. That's all it ever does. It just betrays you constantly. So not doing that anymore.
All right.
Orthodoxy for the win. It is what it is. I mean, to be
Anglos-
fair, I think the Anglos were fine until they. I don't even know what to describe that as. It's like the ultimate type of performative contradiction, all the way up and down. It's like vertical performative contradiction along the self-similar fractal stack of reality the whole way. Because demons, why not? It's like,
I mean, I think the second that you had ordained female clergy, like an ordained female Archbishop of Canterbury, was inevitable.
probably, I wish I could explain that to people with the patterns and why there is a slippery slope and that it's not a slope, but it's actually really easy to see. But most people just don't seem able to think things through, which is so sad.
Or they think they think what's at the bottom's a good thing,
Yeah. Well, usually they just unintended consequences get dragged in and they whine about it's the law of unintended consequences. Like, no, that should have been obvious. You're just stupid. Different problem. The problem is not the structure of the
Unforeseen
universe.
consequences.
The problem's not the structure of the universe. It's you, dummy. Like, I'm gonna do a video about that at some point. I've got to find the. I've been thinking about a couple of videos and doing things a couple of different ways, but I got to find a way to do that video. That'll be interesting.
Well, did you have a Merry Christmas as well?
I did. Yeah, it was a good Christmas. It was nice and low key, and yeah, we just took down our decorations last night because we had a table up next to which is good because I've got to fill my barrister bookcases with my books that are hiding in my shed.
I've got a new collection of books over there. The all 12 volumes of Don Prosper's or Don Prosper Garanger's liturgical year.
Excellent.
Right. And it's just man. Like that's why God gave us monks, is so that they could just do that over there. The blue books on the bottom of my barrister bookcase. So.
Beautiful. There's nothing prettier than a blue book, sir. Nothing.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to just dipping into that, because it's like
we don't have that anymore. Now the people who write books split their time and they do other things, and it's like that's why all the books suck and no one can write stories, and it's terrible.
Well, this is basically just like, hey, we need to talk about the feast of the birth of St. John the Baptist. Here's 60 pages on that.
Perfect.
Just like breaking down the liturgical texts and all of that stuff. And it's like, yes, this is why God created Benedictines.
Exactly.
They codified our worship, and it made it beautiful and do it the best when they're not corrupt. But we judge things by their perfection, not their corruption, right? Abuse does not illegitimate use, basically. So
yeah, that's important. Yeah, it's the other side that the Catholics are no longer enforcing, right? That's and also things must be punished. We're not doing that anymore.
That's we've got the new book 6 of the Code of Canon Law, which has got sharper teeth, so maybe something good will happen. I don't know.
I hope so. Although I don't. Yeah, a lot of all the confusion and listening to the media and how they keep getting gotcha'd by their own stupid questions, and people who are obviously much better informed than they are and have thought things through, and then they keep getting caught, and then it's just on and on and on. And there's more stuff around Charlie Kirk's wife, and I'm just like, man, you guys, I told you it's going to get more chaotic. Nothing's getting better anytime soon. You're going to see things get better in little blips. It's all chaos. It's not. This is not going the way in a direction. It's not going in a direction. That's not what's happening.
I mean, it could be spinning around, couldn't it?
It's chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely spinning around and corkscrewing and spiraling and stopping and restarting and blowing up and then forming, and yeah, that's going on and on and on. And that's the issue. Gregory the what the 17th?
Gregory the 17th.
We're
We're due for another Gregory. We're due for another Gregory.
All right,
Actually, I was like, man, if I could pick this time, I'm going with Leo. And we got a Leo. So thanks be to God for that. But after that, we're due for a Gregory.
well, we didn't guarantee you we'd get you in on the next vote, but we're still working behind the scenes, Father. Don't worry, we'll get you there.
Behind the scenes, your machinations with the
Machinations, secret networks. I was thinking about that today. I was cold, so I had to jump in the shower before my hands turned blue. And
Oh, is it a whole 50 degrees down there?
no, but my illness still does what it does. My Raynaud's still Raynaud's.
Oh, okay. Well, there's no
That's-
help in that.
No, not really. I mean, if you keep the house at 73, usually it doesn't happen, which is what I do in the winter. But sometimes it happens anyway. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was just like, yeah, there's all kinds of people I've infected all over the place on the internet and otherwise with proper language and ways to help people, and they're out doing that, and I'm like, ooh, how nice.
Yeah. Scheming Machiavellian fellow. Yeah. Affecting people with proper language and helpful
Not-
tools for cultural cognitive grammar.
And
What the
ways
heck?
ways to see patterns and recognize certain patterns. So yeah, super useful. Yeah, I got I got like 20 likes on a response that I did to one of Peugeot's tweets today about patterns.
Which Peugeot?
Jonathan.
Was
He
this the one
tweeted-
about Stranger Things?
Yes. Yes.
It's I haven't even seen the daggone show since halfway through season 3 when I bailed.
Don't. I knew. I didn't even touch season 5. I'm like, no, they can't end that story. They don't know how. They're not good enough writers. And I was totally right, completely vindicated. So I didn't watch it. And I don't regret that because I learned from Lost. I invested a lot of time in Lost, man. I am still mad about that. Still mad. Like would punch in the face mad. Like any one of the 3 of those jerk-offs who did that to me, because that was unforgivable. Like, no, I cannot believe you did that. That was so not cool. Just not cool at all. I like Critical Drinker's review because he was really honest. He said, did it have all these shortcomings? Yes. But also, I liked it anyway because I was too invested in it. Fair enough. See, that was one of the best characters, and they never fleshed him out.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen the 2 of you at a party before.
Could be me. I wish I was in that show. That would have been cool. True. You haven't seen me in the same room as him, so
Yeah.
the possibility's always there. That particular character never got his due, and that was too bad. But I remember I was like, I need to watch this with my friend, so I got a bunch of software working on an old laptop to act as a DVR. And so I recorded it on air. And then my friend and I would watch it on the laptop. And it was an old laptop. The laptop was like 8 years old or something. And granted, it was a tough little Toshiba laptop, and they were awesome back in the day.
You
But
must
like-
have done like a storage upgrade or just had it at like 240p.
Oh, no. I had it all tripped out. No,
Okay.
you don't understand. You have no
I
idea.
don't. That's
All
fine.
of my computers might as well have been gold-plated jet planes, because that was like all I did. I would just optimize the hardware, optimize the software. I would rewrite stuff. I was completely out of control. But I spent a lot of time getting that particular DVR to work because my friend who lived down the street wanted to watch it with me. So I was like, all right, I won't watch it live. We'll DVR it. We'll watch it the next day or whatever. So I got that to work. But every once in a while, the laptop would go haywire. I have to go and fix it. And, it was a hell of a lot of work. Right. And I had a great big, CRT TV and the whole 9 yards. And yeah, so he'd come over my place and we'd sit in my huge living room with my ginormical couch and just hang out and have some drinks and some snacks and watch Lost episodes, and it was good. It was our little once a week ritual thing. And then they just totally freaking betrayed everybody by not being able to end the story well. And I was just like, never again. Now I know what to look for. Never again. And I actually watched, although I didn't finish it, but I actually watched Alias, because that was J.J. Abrams' previous series. The fact that it was Jennifer Garner in yoga pants had nothing to do with it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, played no role. And I got to like see the pattern, and I was like, oh, I see. And then shortly after that, he did the talk about mystery boxes in TED Talk. And then you listen to that TED Talk, and now you know that the problem is, because mimicry, people copy it.
Mystery boxes, like unpack that for me. I can't read your mind from over the internet.
His mystery box, I thought everybody knew about this actually, because I came to it late. Mystery box concept is, that's how he wrote Alias. What he would do to keep the audience engaged is just, he'd either introduce a whole new mystery thread, or he'd end a mystery thread on a mystery. And so you were constantly trying to figure out the next mystery. And like Lost was like that. So Lost, they had, I think I counted, it was 18 major threads. And they tied off none of them. And that was the problem. They tied off 0 of them, right? Because he couldn't resolve them, because there was no way to do it within the story structure that he had designed, or the 3 of them had designed, to be fair. There's 3 of them doing the show. And they were just never able to resolve it. But the trick is, it's the dopamine hit of the mystery. Oh, here's a new mystery to solve. Like, oh, you've wrapped up that one, but here's the new one, right? So in Lost, the big famous one in Lost is the lottery numbers that also appear on the medal, that also appear. They appeared in, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different places, maybe more. Like, they were just everywhere. And like, something should have tied all that together, but nothing ever tied anything together, because they copped out and they couldn't really end it. And then the other trick that they use is they end things with a twist, which is exactly what Stranger Things did. So no one's writing good stories, because somebody who writes good stories doesn't need to end it on a twist. There's no reason. The story's better not on a twist, but the twist is the same trick, right? It's this novelty trick that they play on your brain. So if you have a short attention span, you'll keep watching Game of Thrones, which is written by a 12-year-old idiot, perverted retard. You'll keep going. And I saw a pattern recently too, that like, I really enjoyed the show Gilmore Girls. Probably destroyed the world. Very bad show, bad themes, but it's very smartly written. Very smartly. The dialogue is sharp. And I recently watched The Good Place. It's a lot like Gilmore Girls in a certain way. It's very much these one-liners, and the construction of the one-liners is, mildly funny but straight line, and then one just zinger, and then they go back into the straight line pattern, right? They usually end it with the straight line pattern. Sometimes they end it on the zinger, right? They kind of oscillate back and forth. It's a straight, zinger, straight, or they do straight, zinger, right? And that's the part of the pattern. And then when they do that, it's interesting, but you could tell they were struggling too. So effectively in The Good Place, they end up having to invent purgatory, because they ran out of ways to talk about it, because they started in a binary. And I'm like, this is the classic example of middle out binary thinking right here. It's both of them.
It sounds like they got to the right conclusion, though. Like, it could
Well, no,
have
they
done
got-
worse.
But they got trapped, so they had a demon who is a horrible fire squid, apparently.
I hate it when that happens.
Me too. Fire squids are the worst. So they had a demon basically try to reform humans and care about the humans, because he wanted to be human. And of course, in the end, he gets to be human, which is even funnier. But they end up in this weird, like, oh, well, heaven's just getting what you want forever. That must be boring. So then they end up having to invent the void. And once they invent the void, that's how they end the show. Everybody one at a time in the last, I think it's the last episode or last 2 episodes, goes into the void. And I'm just like, no, what are you doing? And they also make heaven incompetent. They make the people who run heaven incompetent and duplicitous. And I'm like, what are you doing? But again, I think that show, much like Lost, because this is definitely true of Lost too, it was supposed to be 1 season. And then they got, everybody loved it. So it got picked up. And then they're like, well, but like we only have 1 seasons of idea. And that was a trend that started, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s with these very clever shows, but they actually only had 1 season of material. How I Met Your Mother. That was a 1 season show. You can totally tell that was a 1 season show.
It's because we're not British. That's the problem.
Well,
the British are like, sometimes the British are like a much tighter on their storytelling. It's like, yeah, it's got 3 seasons, 4 episodes apiece, and it wraps the whole story up nicely,
Right. Or it's got 3 seasons, 4 episodes apiece, and it takes them 8 years to finish it. Like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Or it's got a season has 16 episodes, right? Or
Mark,
the first season has 12, the second season has 3, and the fourth season has 18. They're all over the place.
Mark, it seems like we're all pointing towards the same problem, right? Right. They're not writing the story at the end, starting at the end and working back to the beginning. What they need to do is they need to make Final Cause great again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I just had the exact opposite experience. And I understand that I'm 5 years behind the rest of the world. But over the Christmas break, I did play through and beat The Outer Wilds. And I don't want to spoil it because 30 to 40% of the gameplay is flying around a little solar system in a little spaceship. And then the other 60% of the game is unlocking the mystery of why everything's happening the way it's happening. And it's extremely cohesive the way it's written. And even though I didn't find the ending entirely satisfying, I could tell how every thread that they put out into that story tied in with that, with the conclusion that you can get to when you end the game properly.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking very vaguely because it was actually pretty fantastic. I don't want to spoil any of it for any of you who haven't played The Outer Wilds yet. So I understand, it's a video game, and if Sally Joe hears that, she'll be mad. But I didn't neglect any needful duties when I was doing that. So I feel okay.
That's the problem, is that a lot of the good storytellers get pushed out into video games.
Mm-hmm.
And then the problem is that some video games, I can't remember the name of it, the one they just did the series on, that didn't go well.
Fallout?
No, that's another one, but no, the zombie one, with the zombie survivors. I just play those games.
Yeah, by Naughty Dog.
The
Last
Naughty
of
Dog.
Us.
Last of Us, right? They did The Last of Us. That's why they adapted it for TV, but it didn't work because the story was terrible. But the reason why people didn't notice the story was terrible is because a game is more immersive.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't notice the flaws in the story as easily as you would if you put it to screen. Well, when they put it to screen, it got real obvious real fast because it's less immersive. And that's actually the theme of the next video coming out on Mark of Wisdom Navigating Patterns YouTube channel, by the way. And so I did my doc animation last time, and now I have the explanation for why that is the way it is. And so I actually have to finish that. I'm sitting here. It's actually in front of me. All the stuff I need to organize. I think all the work's done. I just have to do the posting. So I'll probably do that here before I go to bed. But that's actually really important because that's part of the reason why we're so confused. And then there's so many people telling so many stories because we don't have Christendom holding us together, filtering out bad storytellers, right? Exemplifying the good, the true, and the beautiful. And so people are just confused because we're flooded out with bad storytellers. I mean, look at all the time wasted on Game of Thrones. I mean, that was another one, and I was right in the middle of that. And I mean, I knew he wasn't going to end the story well, but I also knew that dragons are cool. So I was like, I like dragons are cool, and the only reason he can't do anything with that story or even make a coherent story is because he's such a rebel. He just needs to kill all the goodness off in the story. And then it just makes a bad story when you kill all the goodness off. And he's too stupid to recognize it. And that's and so are his fans. And like, I know people who were fans of his from, 30 years ago plus. And yeah, they're like that. They just ruin everything they touch. It's terrible. It's awful.
I mean, like
There's no reason.
the whole bleak no goodness thing might work in a short story, but like nobody expects that much out of a short story. You could have really bleak short stories that
Well,
can make a decent point, but like if you're creating a whole world, which is what fantasy writers tend to do, it's like your instinct is for the kingdom of heaven, and that isn't the impression I've gotten from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you can do it, especially in a short story. The primary key to a short story, because they're short, is that you end it open. You
Mhm.
don't end it closed. Right? And the reason why that works is because short stories they're much harder to write, actually. They're much deeper literature. They're devoid of detail on purpose because they draw you in with the imagination, and they're supposed to scaffold something for you. And so unfortunately that means short stories are also only for very sophisticated readers, and unsophisticated readers will not do well with short stories. Right? But and not all short stories have open endings, but an open ending is a way to do that, but you have to do the open ending correctly, and it's
Mhm.
actually very hard to do, and most people can't, they can't pull it off. But
Miss Flannery O'Connor can. Stay tuned for the next
absolutely,
Flannery O'Connor book club.
yes, I'm sorry
Somebody
I missed
actually
the
show
last
up
one.
this time.
I was sick as a dog. I was literally in bed asleep.
Okay, well, that's a
Like,
good enough excuse.
Sarah came in an hour before the book club was supposed to start, and she was like, and I was like, it ain't gonna happen. Go away, leave me alone. I need to sleep. And I just conked right out again. So yeah, sorry
That
I
must have
missed
been the
that.
will of God. So,
It was something. I wasn't too happy about it. I'm still like not
ooh, did you
pleased.
pray for a miracle, Mark?
I was too tired to remember to do. And this is one of the problems when
Mm.
I get sick, because it's inflammation. My memory just completely goes away. And then it's usually when I'm getting better, I go, oh, I have drugs for this. And then I start taking the drugs. I usually don't even, well, and it hits fast too. So sometimes it's like, I literally, I'm like, oh, I better go get some Allegra and, whatever. And then by the time I get into the kitchen, I'm like, I don't remember why I was here. And then I go to bed and I'm drop off to sleep. It's devastating. It's really not good. Um, I had one good day because I got that stupid flu, which didn't hit me that bad at all. And as I'm recovering from the flu, usually when you recover from an illness, if you have SIRS, like your immune system will be imbalanced for some time period. It might be 3 days, it might be 2 days. Lately, it's been like one day. So I had one day. I went to bed at 3 in the morning. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I got 5,000 things done in like 4 hours. It was the best 4 hours I've had in 2 years. I was all excited. I'm like, let's do this again. And that hasn't happened since. But this is what I'm suffering with, I guess. So it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. God had to nerf you in the latest patch, otherwise you're
I
going to be
was
overpowered.
I was so thrilled too. I was like, "Oh, no, it's just the illness. You know, it's not decrepitude from old age. It's really still just the illness." Not that I'm 22 and ready to break people in half and cut down trees with my karate chop hands anymore. But also, man, if I could just sleep like 4 3 hours a night and wake up and just be productive in the morning, it wouldn't take much. I would totally go to sleep at noon every day for 2 hours. It wouldn't make any difference at all. I get so much work done when I wake up fresh. It's ridiculous. I'm so
Mhm.
productive. So yeah, the downside of that is now I have 4 new projects that are going very slowly. Although the AI is cranking away on at least one of them right now.
Oh,
It-
that's how you're keeping your house at 73 degrees, huh?
I wish. No, that would this room is 79. That's why I'm able to have a t-shirt on, because
Because
if I go
you've got
out,
a little 500-watt heater just cranking away over there.
pretty much. Well, I've got 2 big monitors that are older, right? But they're gorgeous. And I've got the 2 lights on, and they're actually, even though they're LED lights, they're actually pretty hot. And then
Mhm.
I've got the other laptop with the other TV on. So yeah, there's a little bit of power, um, you know, going through the room, heating it up, which is good because I need it. Like, at least this room is so warm that I don't have to worry. But yeah, when I go out and sit and watch TV or have dinner or whatever, sometimes I have to put a shirt on. 73 is not cutting it. So, but when we've had a nice warm winter though, so but I have to get outside is what I need to do. I got more trees to cut down, and I got to figure out what to do about the damn beavers and
Mm.
lots of stuff. And I got to remember to figure out what to do about the beavers. They should have been gone by now. I keep forgetting that I got to deal with that.
Sounds like I just need to take a trip down there and just take care of the beavers for you.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, you let me know. We'll
I just traveled, right? And
we'll clear out the back room. You've
you've got to recover before you can travel again, both
Fair,
physically and monetarily.
I gotta go to Florida next week, so that'll be fun.
You get to go to Florida next week.
Yeah, or is it the week after next? I think it's next week. I don't know. It's on my calendar in the other room somewhere. So yeah, we get to go to Florida. We have to go to Florida. It's a requirement. We're being forced. 6.5 hour drive. We're not on the beach there, but we're half an hour from the beach. So we'll probably take a beach trip while we're down there. We're down there for a few days. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, oh, remember the time in Tarpon Springs?
Yeah, it was a good
On the
time.
beach? That was great. Even though we got sunburned badly, it was still worth it.
Do it, make a hat of the beaver. How about I bring you the skin and you make a hat?
Yeah, you can bring the beavers back home, or we can ship them straight to Sally. That would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be perfectly reasonable.
I could probably skin a beaver. I've skinned deer before. A beaver should be easier, don't you think?
Hey, I'll take 2 skinned beavers, and you got to save their I forget what gland it is, because that's how they make the perfume. And the gland's worth like $45 a pop or something. So
Wow.
could earn money like my ancestors, like the French Canadians in the wilderness up there in Canada. Yeah, they built 2 structures on this side of the pond near the house. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, after they poked a million holes in my dam, because I have retarded beavers. I don't have smart beavers. My beavers are dumb.
You think they'd just be happy with your dam? It's like, look at this. The work's already done.
Nope, not these beavers. They're idiots. So I will figure out what to do about that. I just literally keep forgetting. Although my book is finally for sale on my website. I'm so happy.
You know, I tried to purchase the daggone thing and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it should be up there. They've got like 6 orders pending.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Navigating Wisdom Community. The name of the book is right here.
I'll check that.
It's on the shop.markofwisdom.org website, and you can order it there. And your copy will actually have barcodes, whereas this one is a preprint, so it doesn't have barcodes. The new ones should all have barcodes on them, and they're in they're listed in the ISBN and everything. So I'm like totally professional now, and we're working on the second book already. So I did some work on that past few days. That'll be really important. Everyone's psyched about that. I just keep hacking away at it every once in a while between clicking OK on the AIs. That's pretty much my whole.
Are you
I've
allowed
been-
to talk about what your clankers are up to?
What the AIs are up to?
Yeah.
Mostly research. I've got one of them looking into crypto, Father, as at your suggestion. It's not looking good. It's exactly what I expected. There's not enough information in crypto to do reasonable automated trading, which is what I expected. But we'll see. We're not dead yet. You can make money with it, but the current return is 0.04%. So unless you're playing with big bucks, it's kind of
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
not.
I'm not. I don't know that would include your fees for trading or not. I mean, it says it does, but I don't believe the AIs when they tell me things. So, well, that's why I had originally written my own calculations for that, because you just can't trust the computers because they don't even before that, like the back testing simulators that they used to build back in the day in like 2010, they didn't do the calculation correctly. And I'm like, this is the easy math, guys. Like, I'm not trusting you with the hard math if you can't get the easy math right. This is pretty straightforward.
I mean,
then-
things like division are really like you got to get tricky with how you're programming computers to do that, right? And handling
Yeah.
floating point integers and those sorts of things.
Right. Floating point is a big deal because there's a ton of floating point standards. And they all have different implications. And in fact, so the early program we were using called Chaos Hunter, which I think is actually still for sale, we found it's not a bug, it's a discrepancy in Chaos Hunter. And that discrepancy in the floating point numbers, which I think were 6 values past the decimal point, it diverged from the numbers that we had in the platform. So there's the platform, and then there's what Chaos Hunter comes up with. That divergence increased performance because it's a fuzzification of the numbers. And in certain applications, fuzzification, it's called, actually improves performance. And
like
so
it improves performance like on the hardware and the speed that they can make calculations.
Nope, it improves the performance of the strategies.
Oh, okay. You just throw a little bit of noise in there.
Yeah, fuzzification, adding noise is, it's another way to say it, but fuzzification is a more specific term in data science for it's a type of noise, right? It's specifically imprecision in the numbers, right? It can be introduced a number of ways. I don't think too many people would think to use float 32s and float 16s, right, on either side of the calculation, which is effectively what happened to us. But it improves performance. It's well studied in data science, actually. So it's just kind of funny that my buddy found it. I didn't find it. He's like, aren't these numbers wrong? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because he's the math guy, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, look, 6 digits out. And I'm like, who looks 6 digits out on a floating point number? What are you talking? No one does that. That's insane. And I said, oh yeah, they are different. And so we tried to make them the same because we had full control of the software and I could do that. And the performance went down immediately. And I'm like, ooh, interesting. So,
Not a bug, it's a feature.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah. And it turns out that Chaos Hunter back then was written in VisiBasic 6. And this is a known issue that VisiBasic 6 had mixed floating point, and it was very easy in Visual Basic 6 to mix up the floating points because they're like defaults built in and stuff like that. And so it was using float 16, not float 32. So the calculations on the decimals were off at about 6 places or something. And that actually made it better because it was an accidental fuzzification of the data. I'm not sure anybody's ever used that before for data fuzzification. I've never read a paper on it. That doesn't mean people haven't done it, but I just thought it was a cool, hey, you can fuzzify the data just by switching data types you use in your software. Like, that's pretty cool because that's free. That doesn't cost you anything, right? There's no additional processing time on the number because it's at the calculation time that it's the way it handles registers. It's 0% slower. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's, you learn something every day, don't you?
I hope so. Maybe not. But yeah, that was one of the things that I was working on. Although like I said, the 0.04% returns are not looking promising. I might go in and actually look at that code and then manipulate it back to the code that I had originally and start that over only with crypto. I think the problem is that there really isn't a lot of information in crypto because it's decentralized, and that actually screws up your ability to even get information. And
Mhm.
that's why I don't like, that's one of the big reasons I don't like crypto. The decentralization is actually a huge minus if you want to do prediction, because you don't have
Well,
centralized data access.
well, you just remember that I was just trying to be helpful and offering advice without having a dime in the project. So,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, and I gave it a shot because
Yeah.
this Chinese AI, they seem to be giving me quite a few credits, and I just keep throwing projects at it, and it just keeps doing them, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess we're never gonna run out of free credits. Okay.
oh,
It-
you're not running it locally. Okay.
No, I'm not running any of that locally. Who cares? Oh, you want to know about the crypto strategies that I'm testing? Go right ahead. Who cares? You're not
Well,
gonna
I
find
don't know. I
anything.
just thought you might have AI set up. Seems that's the sort of thing you might do, and it would also
I
heat your room. It there's no
I have that,
downsides.
but that's in the back room on the
Okay.
rack. The big rack of computers that I said I was not going to put in my house is in my just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I tried. I couldn't go from 50 computers or 58 computers down to 3. Like that wasn't possible. So I've got like 6 or maybe 7 or maybe 8. It depends. But most of them are off. But yeah, the other machine definitely is running AIs right now. It's not running big ones, but it's running little neural nets and stuff all over the place to do market prediction work and among other things. Yeah, I'm testing a bunch of stuff. But if you use AI correctly, man, it's amazing. And they just upgraded all the programming AIs in the past month, and they do cool stuff now. They've been doing really well lately. I'm like, oh, this is kind of impressive. And then I've got another project that I have to wait until 3 a.m. to touch again because I ran out of API stuff on Google. The coding agents work fine, but I can't make the API calls back to my damn YouTube channel. So I've got a little YouTube channel manipulator thing that I've been toying with. We'll see if it works. I don't. You tell the AIs to do things, and sometimes it works, and that's not the.
It's sort of
common
like
case.
having human employees, isn't it?
It's really funny that now everyone's just managing employees and they don't talk about it that way, but that is exactly what it is because I have done that job many times and I know this is exactly running coding AIs is exactly like dealing with employees. It's exactly the same thing. It's hysterically funny to me. I'm like, oh, now I have a bunch of free employees. This is kind of fun. They can only code and do research, and some of the coding research things actually work pretty well. Like you can give them research tasks and they'll go search the web and actually find stuff. So Perplexity.ai, which is still pretty much free, is way better at that than any of these things seem to be. But it's cool that you can just go into like Claude Code or something and say, hey, research this on the web, and it'll actually go out and research it on the web for you and come back with answers. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Perplexity is really useful if I need to find a citation from the Acta Apostolica Sedis, which are all, you can get the PDFs of all of them, they're only like 700 pages a piece and have been, published since the 1908. So it's really nice to have a machine that can just like fly through those and find things for me because it's tedious otherwise.
Well, that's what it's really good for, is the tedious information. And of course, Ixnan, I don't anymore have a machine named Orac, but I did for about 30 years. I don't have a machine named Orac anymore. But I do have the original disc off my machine named Orac. We just watched the first episode of season 2 of Blake 7 on Blu-ray, which was my Christmas gift. So yeah, while I was sick, we blew through The Good Place just because I was watching a hell of a lot of TV because I was sick. And when you're sick, the one thing you shouldn't do is touch your damn code or your computer or your documents or your books. Like, just leave that alone. You're only going to make it worse. So I was like, I'm going to watch 4 seasons of The Good Place in like a week. So we did. And
If you're
quite a
sick
funny
enough,
show.
if you're sick enough, that's fine enough.
I wasn't super sick. Everybody up north who got the disease has like literally been in bed for 5 days. And I was like, oh no, I wasn't that sick. But we had the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Are any parishes doing AI confessional sacraments yet? Not to my knowledge. And if they do, they need a canonical boot up their butt if they're trying, because
Spiritual malpractice, Father. We've got to
spiritual
make that a
malpractice.
thing.
Well, I mean, what would we do? I think you could charge that as simulation of a sacrament right there, because you wouldn't have a minister with faculties right there, like simulation of a, let's just have some fun here. Let's look up
do it.
the
Well, Father, does this
penalty
not go
for
into-
simulating a sacrament.
Father,
Yes.
does this not go into the question of whether AI could be conscious or not?
AIs can't be conscious. Next.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is 0% hard. The people that talk like that, 0 of them have a computer science degree. In other words, they don't know anything about AIs at all. Just they always do
Okay.
this.
Yeah. So anybody who tried to do that, Canon 1379, paragraph 1, the follow incur a late sententiae automatic interdict, or if a cleric, also a late sententiae suspension. A person who, apart from the case mentioned in Canon 1384, though unable to give a valid sacramental absolution, attempts to do so or hears a sacramental confession. I think if you were doing that via an instrument, we could make an argument that that's that.
Well, I think the big problem for having the AI do anything Catholic, Denise, is that if you notice, all the Catholic stuff is suppressed everywhere in every search of everything. And that actually shows up rather clearly in certain instances, but I've measured it and it's really bad. It's unbelievably bad. But the Protestants will actually tell you that there's a papal bull that says that you should kill the Queen of England. And if you read it, it doesn't say anything even remotely like that. And they will cite the bull as though they've read it. And I'm like, this thing that you said says this thing doesn't say this thing. You have the reference in front of you. You could read it too and realize it doesn't say to kill the Queen of England or anything remotely like that. But they also control the internet through their secularity, which doesn't exist. So yeah, it's bad. It would be very, very hard to get any reasonable Catholic answers out of AIs and search engines without a lot of framing.
All ministers of sacraments are humans, natural persons, and usually men in sacred orders. So
Yeah.
it's like we're just not going to do this.
Well, so Father, the reason I brought up this idea of AI becoming conscious is because I've heard some people claim this based off of an argument known as panpsychism, which is the idea that like everything is conscious, but like does Catholicism consider that to be a silly belief?
Yeah, like inanimate matter is not conscience. Animals have a sort of consciousness. I suppose plants might. I'm not really sure, but maybe. But there is such a thing as just inanimate matter that does. But people want to go looking for consciousness all throughout the universe, and they won't just look for angels, right? Because like you can find it there. There's. I don't know if consciousness is the right word for it, but there's that intelligence out there. So it's just sort of the instinct to look for intelligence in the universe, I think, is what makes people think, oh, it's got to be exactly like the intelligence I have, therefore it's to some degree conscious. And then what they mean by conscience is, you have the experience of being behind your eyeballsness. And I wish I was German because that'd be a real word by this point.
Yep.
Behind the eyeballsness. It's just like that's because that's where you feel like you are, is you're somewhere. And if anybody who's listening to this is blind, chime in the comments on where you would put the center of your consciousness. Maybe if you're blind, you feel like you're inside your fingertips. I'm not sure. So
the problem is, Kirk, there's playing two tricks at once on you. A, they don't have a definition of consciousness. No one does. Most of them are so smart they don't even try to give you one because they know they're lying scumbags. But the second trick they're playing is, if panpsychism is true, then AI is already conscious. Why are we even having the discussion? It's a logical fallacy.
And every
This
time you
isn't that
take a
hard.
dump,
These are the low IQ thinkers. Sorry.
like every time you take a dump, your toilet is conscious of what you're doing to it,
Right.
So
That's
it's
the
kind of a
problem with-
horrifying universe to live in.
Yeah, they universalize the concept to get around answering the hard question of discernment, which is the pattern of science, right? It dissects the world, and one of the things the problem of consciousness is it dissected the concept of the soul from Catholicism, basically, and then didn't know what to do with that because it could never figure out what that was.
Because it's not, this is really easy why it couldn't, is because empirical science can only deal with that can be measured, and the soul being spiritual cannot be measured.
Not be measured.
Just easy peasy.
They needed some way to explain all the unexplainable things in materialism, which is all of the important things. And so they gin up this idea of consciousness because that allows them to explain a bunch of things by having a word that's very abstract that they never define. A good trick. Also, it's a trick, and they're retarded. Dunno. I don't like listening to people that dumb who make silly statements like panpsychism is something. I'm like, you're just universalizing something so you don't have to define it. Real clever, guys. I feel like a 3-year-old would do the same thing. Oh wait, they do. Weird.
3-year-olds are at least charming when they say silly things.
I know. We laugh at them though, and that's what we should do with ideas that are also come up with by 3-year-olds. But they're just a little bit older, we'll say. It's fine.
A very large 3-year-old.
Large 3-year-olds. Yeah.
That's what's fun about visiting people my age, is that a lot of my friends have kids now, and I get to observe the 3-year-olds without being responsible for them ultimately. It's a great place to be in.
You love kids. You're like, and you're a child magnet too, which is hysterical. It's hysterical to watch you around kids. Actually.
I'm fun. I'd like to think I'm fun.
You're not fun. You're totally boring, and the kids don't care. It's really strange.
When have you observed me interacting with people's children?
Tarpon Springs.
When was I interacting with?
Corey.
Oh, Corey's kids.
Airbnb.
Oh, hold on now. I played catch for like 30 minutes with his daughter.
I would not exactly describe you as fun, but they thought you were. They thought you were the greatest thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah, because I was playing catch with them. That's fun.
It was the most boring catch I've ever seen.
It was like a 3-year-old. She could barely move her hands. Like I was doing that. We're going to use some nice sciencey language here. So I was putting that young child, while you and Corey were arguing about estuary, I was putting her into the zone of proximal development.
Oh, that was good. I should have seen that coming too, and I didn't.
Right, like trying to keep that game of catch as engaging as it could be, and.
Well, then they put something on your head, right? Was it a bucket, I think, with a ball in it or something, and you had to stand perfectly still. And yeah, they were having fun with you. You were not like the party play person, though. You were very reserved. It was hysterical how much they loved you, though. I was like, what is going on?
That's
here?
part of the fun right there. Is the contrast between the ridiculousness and the dignity of my office.
It was far more fun for me than it was for them, and I was distracted, talking to Corey. So I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing, and I've got pictures to prove it too. It all happened.
Okay, I'd forgotten about that whole thing,
How
but
did
it's
you forget
actually
about
exactly
that?
what I was talking about. That
Tarpon Springs is great. Are you going to Symbolic World too in Ohio?
Well, where?
I think it's May, middle of May, 14th, 15th, something like
Ooh,
that.
that's bad. That's the end of confirmation season right there. I'm usually
Worn out.
with worn out, yeah, but like
Yeah.
also like that'd be like a road trip weekend. I can't delegate that. That's
Yeah, I get you. No,
Ah.
I thought you heard the announcement. Peugeot did it in December. He teased it, and then he decided to go ahead and announce it. And his Q&A, because he had his December Q&A was an open Q&A. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going either. We'll find out. It's 14th through 16th. That's what I thought. It's just my brain is just still stuffy. I'm actually all stuffed up. I probably got to take another Mucinex or something because my head's getting there. I'm still recovering from that horrific cold, for sure. But again, I'm grateful because I did not end up in bed for 5 straight days like 3 other people I know. I'm like, oh, I love living down south. These colds just don't hit you as hard. It's
I
fantastic.
mean, it hit me pretty hard. I had coronavirus and I was without sleep for like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, that's awful, man.
Yeah, coronavirus does that to you too, huh? I had to take melatonin when I had it back in 2021. That was the only way I could sleep.
Even with melatonin, I couldn't sleep.
Ouch, that's tough.
I got some sleep last night, so I'm feeling better now. But it was terrible.
Yeah, that's Rolla, Rugby, Belcourt, and yeah, that weekend's packed. I can't get away.
Oh, bummer. That's okay. I may or may not go. We'll see. I was horrifically disappointed in the Jonathan Peugeot Martin Shaw talk they just put out. I was like, oh my, and at the end it just got so much worse. And I was like, how can this get worse? And they went after my beloved Pirates with a bunch of jibbledy jobber nonsense that is anti-historical. So that was bad. And I'm gonna prove it because we went and got library cards for Richland County, which I am entitled to have. And Sarah was like, they have seeds. We must go get library cards. And I'm like, all right, well, I've been meaning to get library card anyway. So for that library. So we went down to the branch near the house, actually, which is enormous building. It's like the biggest building in the world. It's a tiny library in a huge building, space everywhere. And they have a Privateers of South Carolina book. And I was like, almost didn't leave the library. I was like, there were 2 books that I was just like, oh, what's this? The other one was good. It reminded me of Denise. I was skeptical, Denise. I am no longer skeptical. The book was something like How Jack Welch Destroyed Capitalism. And it's all about Jack Welch building GE into this machine that grinds up its employees in order to make profits effectively. And I had never heard this before. Denise was the first person I heard point to this. And no, there's somebody wrote a whole book on it. And it's at the library near my house there, about 5 miles away. I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, maybe one of these days I'm gonna go skulk into the library and just hang out and read. Because it's a cool lie. It's very opulent for what it is. But my goodness, all the space.
Is it like another building, like somebody's historic house that got converted into a library, or are you just building opulent buildings?
God, no. It's behind the mall, actually. It's right behind the Sandhills Mall. And they built this enormous building, and it's actually 2 buildings connected by a hallway, effectively. And it's about 4 stories high, but it's a 2-story building. I mean, it's nothing but space inside, baby, for miles. It's just unbelievable. The downtown version of the Richland Library is like this too. It's just this huge hulking building. It's enormous. And they don't have that many books, but my God, do they have the space? Like, they just have so much space. It's unbelievable how much space there is. And they got a bunch of computers, and they've got a little seed library that was mostly empty. So we got to wait for them to refill their seeds. And they had a bunch of stuff. And those books, the books are not very well ordered. They're adequately ordered. And I just ran across those 2 books because we were there, and I'm like, oh, we're here. Might as well check out the library now that we have our library cards. And I almost checked out one of the books. And then I'm like, Mark, how many books do you have that you're not reading? And I was like, okay, we won't check out these books. We'll come to the library one of these days and just read them here because that will work. Because I won't be able to be distracted. I'll be stuck at the library. What you going to do at the library? You got to read a book. You can't sit there and get on the internet. Although, again, they have computers. Their computer, like that place was busy. It was hopping. We went on a Sunday and it was hopping. Like it was full. All the computers were in use. People were there. Like it was wild. And a lot of the library stuff was for kids too. So it's interesting. Oh, Denise, I don't want to know about that. Don't mention Cardinal Law to me ever, please. Like I've talked about him before. What needed to happen and didn't. It wasn't pretty for him, let me tell you. And that was me being nice. Yeah, I didn't know anything about Jack Welch being quite so evil, but apparently he's not a good guy. So it would be interesting if that was the pattern that business is following, and that Netflix is the pattern that destroyed both software and all the media companies by being successful at streaming. And I'm just starting to see all these things, and I'm like, oh, look at this. Isn't this interesting? That's where that came from. It's like, oh, that's not good.
I mean, do you think so? So it's like, the fragmentation of media markets, right? It's like everybody's got a hyper specific YouTube channel that provides them exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't even have to make money anymore because all of our finances are so funny. Is that like, is the end game of that, like things becoming more local? Like, I don't know. It's what I'd like to have happen, but I don't know if that's inevitable, but
no, it won't. It's just the scattering of attention. So let's assume that attention is the closest thing to magic that we have any control over whatsoever. Because that's the way it is. Anyway, let's just hypothetically assume that attention is the closest thing to a magic that we can control. If you spread that out, it never gets powerful enough and focused enough to do anything. But so that means if there's a spiritual war going on, we ain't in it. And maybe we need to be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one really good way to think about it. Right. And when we don't have that focused attention, and then you see what happens. I mean, vis-a-vis Ron earlier, like when that attention gets focused, it actually works in unexpected and unusual and unpredictable, according to materialism, ways. Not unpredictable according to anyone, but unpredictable according to materialism ways, which is interesting. Like people always ignore that part, right? They always ignore, there are people that make correct predictions all the time reliably. And just because we don't know how, we don't talk about it.
So I think I might have had it backwards then. If somebody was able to harness and like focus and direct even a small group of people's attention, but like very, very focused and direct in a local place, that would become very powerful. Because
if there was a book that explained to you how to focus your attention in a local place on a local thing, if you weren't careful, you might form a community.
Yeah. So community. Yeah. But that's not going to be inevitable at the end of media fragmentation. But when it happens, we would be able to see it.
No, it's almost certainly not going to happen, because media and the proliferation of media through comic books and video games specifically, which are tied together in strange ways that I don't quite understand myself yet, although I'll do that history someday. That causes people to be able to be in a conflict free interaction all the time, and then you lose the skill of conflict navigation and negotiation, and then you become war averse. But the problem is that war is a pattern that is inevitable. That's why when people go like, I want a world without war, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want anything like that. Like, this is the opposite of the right answer. Like, what you want is a world where war is held at bay by a lesser conflict. And the problem is when you avoid conflict, it just builds up and magnifies at the same time. And so the longer you wait, the worse the results, like the bigger the explosion at the end. And that's basically what war is. It's the built up small corruptions and injustices of the world. That's why you watch the court to know whether or not you're going to go to war. And when justice gets abrogated over and over again for long enough, war is inevitable. And that doesn't necessarily mean a civil war. It just means that like that energy is built up and war is inevitable. And that's why I scream about, aside from my personal rage about the whole subject and being completely and totally victimized by it, I rage about the justice system being corrupt, because that is the signature for war. You can't keep your justice system corrupt for too long, or you will cause a war. And if you're constantly suing for peace and being too ecumenical, what you're doing is you're avoiding the inevitable conflict and making it build up. And so those are the people that are causing a war. That them and the people that are fomenting by sowing skepticism and doubt and cynicism. Like those are also ways to cause war, because you can cause war through paranoia, paranoia is an overfocus of attention rather than a scattering of attention. And it's like, oh, see, so you can just use the attention frame and understand, a good portion of this at a very large scale pretty easily.
Well, I think this is just an interesting thing that I've noticed, right? Is in my amongst my very trad friends, there's like a growing disdain and distaste and a moving away from engaging with social media, especially among the women, right? And like people are like, yeah, we don't really watch TV in our household. We have a TV. And like occasionally maybe we'll watch something, but like it's not a regular habit.
Good.
And that's a really, it's a small seed right now. There's not a whole ton of people, but that it's a fundamentally a Christian impulse that's driving them to it, because they just notice that the scattering of their attention is making them worse. And it's like, well, hey, Christ is calling you to not, to shun those things that are actively making you worse. It. So it's it's just again the mark of holiness in the church that, and then like sometimes I'll give people a penance that they have to stay off the their internet or the phone for like a day or two.
Awesome.
And a lot of times people are like, yeah, I can do that. And you can tell they're not looking forward to it, but they don't argue. They don't argue with me in the confessional. They're not like, no, the phone's not a problem. And they're like, yeah, they know it's a problem. So, well,
that's the good part about hierarchy and having an authority above you, is that an authority above you gives you the space to admit something that you wouldn't admit only to yourself. And like, that's a huge bonus that people don't realize. It's like, yeah, it's great being under an authority, because now you have cover for confessing to yourself the things that you're in too much conflict about internally. And it's super helpful. And yeah, that's why I don't argue even with my Orthodox priest friend. When he told me to go read this C.S. Lewis, I went and got it. Like, I did it immediately. There was no pause. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but it's a heartening thing for me to see, even though it's like still in a very small seed form, that like it's still working, like the Holy Spirit's still drawing people's eyes upwards, away from their phones and that sort of thing, and and it's just, I'm sure there's some kind of like message, but there's just a lot of a lot of people tuning into it all independently, which means that it's not just like me telling people to get off their phones. It's like, no, me telling people to get off their phones is a part of something bigger that
Right.
I'm not in charge of. And it's kind of nice to not be in charge sometimes.
Your authority needs an authority too to give you
Yeah.
space to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, what we've been doing mostly is, other than the media that I own, which, you know, I don't have a lot of, but it's all very good stuff. We're mostly streaming really old stuff. You know, like the Agatha Christie movies now. That's what I've been on a kick for.
I saw White Christmas over Christmas. I'd never
There you
seen that
go.
one before. And it was so like they had some like bits where they had some really sharp dialogue that I really enjoyed. But the whole plot, you know, was really simple. And that was okay because it was mostly about the song and dance numbers anyway.
Yeah.
That's why you've got Bing Crosby in the movie. You can, you know, just cue the orchestra.
Out of curiosity, Father, have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh, have I seen It's a Wonderful Life? That is the single. Yes, I have. And there's no need to give him, you know, he's asking. It is like the greatest movie of all time. Might even
Pretty
say the
much.
greatest Christmas movie, like the greatest movie of all time. And if you can ever find somebody who can match Jimmy Stewart's acting at the very end of that movie, then like
Oh,
we
yeah.
will have come to a new age because he was on another planet, you know. That's incredible work.
Yeah. That's such an amazing film. Yeah. One of my friends, she has all this It's a Wonderful Life stuff, like all of it. It's amazing. Like comforters, and I think she's got a signed autograph picture from I think it's Violet, the woman who played Violet Bix and stuff. And it's she's just, yeah. That was a big movie with the generations a little bit older than you, Kirk. It's a big movie.
Yeah,
Big
well,
movie.
and the funny story is that it was not a hit when it came out. It
No,
was not
it was a total
popular.
flop. Yeah.
But then somebody forgot to renew the copyright in the 1970s. And so all these TV stations figured out that they could air it for free on Christmas. And so then, you know, people get tired of dinner and tired of their family and they go watch it. And that's when it became popular, was in the 1970s. And so, yeah. I have
Have
seen
you
it.
have you seen Rear Window?
Yes, it's a while ago, but I think I remember. That's
Yeah,
Alfred
we-
Hitchcock right there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, it's the Stewart too. So yeah, he's stuck in the with a broken leg in the chair and stuff. It's just a glimpse into the earlier world, right? Like how things worked, nurses coming in and checking on you, and it's just
Mhm.
like wild courtship, actual courtship, right? And I did Key Largo, and we did the Maltese Falcon. You know, I got to do Citizen Kane again. I've only seen it once anyway, and that's supposed to be one of the best movies of all time.
Well, Citizen Kane, I mean, it's good, right? There's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's very well done. But I think it had such a big impact on some of the techniques they developed. You know, like they were the first to like cut a hole in the floor of the stage so that they could put a camera down there and point it up at the other characters and make them look, you know, bigger and taller, like those sorts of filmmaking things. But like, it's sort of like how everybody copied Seinfeld in the 1990s and afterwards.
Yep.
And so you go back and watch Seinfeld if you're me, and it's like, well, yeah, it's good, you know, but there's nothing special about it. Like, well, no, if you were there, you saw what was new about this. You know? So,
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal. People don't realize that. That's why if you find a film or TV critic who doesn't know about The Prisoner TV show, just discount everything they say, because everything after The Prisoner borrowed from The Prisoner. Like Patrick McGowan is, you know, just he was amazing what they did with that show. It's such a short show too. But yeah, I mean it's weird. There's simple little shortcuts to know. Like, does this guy know what they're talking about or not? Well, did they know about this? No. Then
and It's a Wonderful Life is a great shortcut. If you meet somebody who doesn't like it, they're a bad person.
They're a bad person for sure.
Just automatically, you know.
100% guaranteed. There's no question about it. You
And
can't not like
every
that
year
movie.
around Christmas time, there's somebody who writes an essay saying, "Well, this isn't actually a good movie," and the reasons they come up for it are always just evil. So
They're demons. It's a demon identification instantaneous. Every time. 100% demon, guaranteed. Yep.
So Kirk, I sure hope that you liked it.
I haven't seen it. I just heard it's a popular Christmas movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, your homework, Kirk, is to go watch that movie.
Yeah, immediately.
And then write a 3-page essay on why it's the best movie ever.
Ever.
I need to have it in 2 Mondays from now.
Excellent. Perfect, Father.
And I will be able to tell if you use an AI to write it.
Oh, that wouldn't be hard. Yeah. We'll know. We will know. It really is such a, and you're right. The acting at the end is just so good.
It's so like, good. It's like, it wasn't just him at that point.
Well, Donna Reed, because she's amazing. Did you know Donna Reed, before Lucille Ball ran Hollywood, she ran like a bunch of studios, and she had proxy males in charge of everything on the paperwork, but she was actually running everything.
Oh, wow.
Like, that woman's amazing. Because first of all, she's unbelievably beautiful. Like she looks like an angel all the time, but she's also super smart and unbelievably talented. And she was running most of Hollywood. And I was just blown away when I read that. I was like, what? Because they're always doing like, women are always blah, blah, blah in Hollywood. And I'm like, no, they're not. Lucille Ball ran the largest studio in Hollywood for years and like controlled half the movie industry and all the TV. And then it's like, oh yeah, but Donna Reed did it before her. It's like they have a long history of being run by women. I was like, oh, fair enough. It was cool though. Yeah, Lucille Ball is another amazing story. She's like completely off the hook, amazing. Yeah, some of this stuff.
I think it's better if you just run it through other people. They probably preferred it. They probably just preferred it that way.
Everything's better. That's if you listen to Critical Drinker, you'll hear him talk about some of these producers and directors and stuff that get these movies. And he said, much like with George Lucas and Star Wars, when they don't have pushback, when they're unconstrained, they make crappy movies. It's just the way it is, right? They need other people to rub up against them. You need that conflict to make you better. If you're not conflicting in the work that you're doing, you're not getting better, right? And the work's not better. The work's better with the conflict. And yeah, that can go too far and you can lose things and regret them later, of course. But on average, you're going to do better with the conflict. You want people rubbing up against you when you do stuff. It's an important principle.
I mean, that's the way our whole legal system works. This is the contentious legal system, and it's going to work the best when people want to win. And like
it's adversarial.
It's adversarial.
It's not opponent processing. It's adversarial with a third party mediator. That's the other thing that the opponent processing goes, oh, it's just me and the people that disagree with me, and that's all I need. It's like, no, you need an adversarial relationship, maybe in a certain way, but it needs to be under a larger authority, and it's the larger authority that makes a decision, not either of you. That's actually how everything works well in the universe. And when you don't do that, it never works well. Could be a coincidence, but somehow I don't think it is. Could be me.
Well, there's another grave coincidence that we're dealing with here. And, it's been so long since the sun went down that it's now very dark outside. And so I'm afraid that in order to exercise my rationality, I must end this stream and begin the process of going to sleep. So, thank you.
Good night, Father.
And good night, and God bless you all, and Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls.